Hi, I'm Gregory.
I'm Josh.
I'm James.
I'm Nick.
And we're Meditator.
And this is a behind-the-scenes look at our music video for Dust.
Got it.
So Dust is about political corruption and the rampant amount of pollution that is widespread, not just in our country, but just around the world. And it's talking about how if those things aren't corrected in a very short time, then we as a society and as a people are going to be pretty much done for. And so in taking those lyrics into account, that's where we came up with the concept for the rest of the video.
Yeah, I think there's a line in the second verse that the way it starts off is the mother of all creation, which would just be Earth, is a dying sensation. And it's just overall talking about, I suppose, global warming and pollution and how ultimately men or people, mankind being on the planet is tainting it. Yeah. Just a general overview sense of talking about it, because it's been talked about a little more over the past few years, but I feel like there's not enough people talking about it.
I mean, over the past we noticed that pollution went down greatly when everybody was stuck home and couldn't be out doing things. Like, the pollution went down. It was so noticeable. So that brings up the talking point of what do we need to do to keep the pollution down. But it seems like people don't want to have that conversation when money's involved.
Yeah.
Distracted.
Yeah. So this video initially started with me meeting up with one of my friends I went to high school with, Colton. He owns Colt Creative. He's starting up a music video shooting company. He's a photographer. He's really good. And he came over and we just talked about possible ideas for the meaning of the song and how we could shoot, honestly, a low budget video because we're just a local band, not trying to spend $10,000 on a music video, and he's just starting up, so we were kind of like helping each other out.
And kind of pace to know people too.
Yeah.
So
he came over and we were hanging out, we were looking up other music videos, just trying to get ideas, and one that came up was The Lines by Beartooth, because there's a part in that music video where they're in kind of like a quarantined room, which is just a small room with plastic sheeting on the walls. It looks like Dexter, like a murder room. And they're wearing these like painter suits. It was a very simple video, but we looked at it and realized we could kind of twist it into what we wanted to do, because ultimately with the whole pollution and the
global warming,
with all that stuff going on, like hazmat suits,
gas masks,
and
like that.
Being in quarantine, because this video concept happened around April 2020, and the whole outbreak happened March-ish of 2020. So it'd be a lie to say there wasn't any inspiration from the outbreak happening, but that wasn't the point of the video. It's just we were looking at gas masks and it's they're $50. Well, we could just wear masks. Everyone owns masks now because this whole thing's going on.
Yeah.
So why not just throw masks on? It gets the point across. Yeah. So we had the idea from that Beartooth video initially of what if we had a room that was very quarantined, and if pollution got chaotic enough that it wouldn't be safe to go outside, if there was nuclear fallout, there's all these things that could happen, and quarantining may be a future. I don't know if it's necessarily very soon, but it
hopefully not.
It could
Could be.
Yeah, it could be something that happens. So we wanted to kind of portray what it'd look like being in a quarantine room, obviously on a super budget.
Yeah, and also just looking the part. I know making your eyes look sick, all the features on your face. We did a whole lot of just like little makeup, not big makeup, but just a little bit, just to give the sickly look to it. And yeah, I mean, that was cheap. Didn't have to do anything on that, but it definitely played a huge part in the video and just the overall concept.
Nice little add the details there.
Yeah.
And hopefully it'll give the video a little bit more longevity, because even after this whole catastrophe that we've been going through for a whole year is over, we're still going to have to deal with, you know, the possible end of human civilization. No big deal.
Got to turn black and white for that one.
So we filmed this on just a full Sunday day, and we decided, except for James, to come over Saturday like afternoon and try to pre-set it all up, because we knew there'd be hanging the sheeting from the ceiling and attaching hooks to the ceiling. We weren't sure how we were going to do that because we didn't want to damage Josh's garage. We also did this in Josh's garage.
Yeah, a little 2-car garage.
just like right below us, like right there.
Yeah, it was like just big enough.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
the perfect size. So we brought everything over just to see how we were going to do it. So all we had were like command strip hooks we were going to put on the ceiling, and then we were just going to poke holes in the sheet, just kind of shove it up there. Then we started messing with it and realized plastic sheeting kind of heavy.
Yeah.
And that just wasn't going to work. And also the command strips we had were more just like metal poles than hooks. So when you put it onto the ceiling, it's just a stick that goes down and you can't hook anything on it. If we put it on the walls, it would have worked.
Yeah, they're made to be upright.
Yeah. So we weren't sure what we were going to do about that, but command strips seemed the best option to not damage the garage, and I think it worked.
Yeah.
Did you get them off? Yeah.
Yeah. We're good.
We could have just done like the screw fish
Oh.
hooks, but
Oh,
that
boy.
would have been bad.
Yeah.
And they might have ripped out.
Just fill them with toothpaste and fill the holes with toothpaste. That's
Yeah.
like it's just
That would suck.
minty fresh.
So we had the sheeting and we had the command strips, but it just wasn't enough to hold. Even we started taking some of the command strips apart and bending the hooks with pliers to make them into actual hooks and putting them back together. It still wasn't strong enough. So we ended up going to Walmart, but since we were in the middle of the world dying,
Yeah.
Walmart closed at like 8.
Yeah, there was nothing at Walmart.
Yeah,
Nothing.
that was annoying. And then we went to Kroger, which
Don't go to Kroger for home care.
I mean, we found a few
Jesus
things.
Christ.
we got it to work,
Yeah.
but it was Kroger.
Just barely.
Mainly clips. We got
Yeah.
the clips at Kroger.
So we were trying to figure out a way to hook it to the ceiling, and for some reason Kroger had rope. I don't know why. And then they had these like mini clips. So we were like, okay, we could put the rope on the hooks, weave it through the tarp, and then clip it to it. So all the weight isn't on the tarp on the hooks, it's on the rope on the tarp. That's all we had. Like all we had was Kroger stuff, so we bought it. It was like $20 or $30 or something. The clips were like 50 cents a piece. Who cares? About like 50. And we brought them back, and we fixed all of the command strip hooks. We were placing them on the ceiling. Those were working. We now just needed it so the tarp or the sheet wasn't drooping really bad.
I think at that time we did use those little cork hooks
In the walls.
to like to keep the rope tight so
Yeah.
it wouldn't droop.
Yeah.
And I think that kind of helped. It was a huge pain.
I don't think it worked though, because we hung it and then we tried and it just would pull the rope down, which was a whole other problem we didn't think of. So we were using the rope as support and it didn't work.
Well, didn't you have to tie it to the garage tracking?
The bracket? No.
We ended up
No.
we ended up paracording it,
Oh, that's what it was.
Yeah.
which was I think that was Charlie's idea. So we just took the rope and folded it in half, and then we grabbed a broomstick for one half, and one guy would hold the other end, and he just spun it. So it made like a paracord out of this random cloth rope, and then we took duct tape and duct taped it all together. So it was like a one piece of paracord. Because since it was drooping, we were like, well,
We need something more
if we make
structured.
it thicker, it's
Yeah.
better.
Okay.
So
You're not wrong.
Definitely what she said.
So then we hung it and it worked. Like we paracorded
Yeah.
and it worked. So we had to paracord.
Nice.
Since we had 3 walls, we paracorded 3 of the ropes. And then so we actually didn't weave it through the sheeting. We just hung the rope and then threw the sheeting over
kinda-
it and clipped it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what the clips are for. So when we filmed, the clips were like bright red. So when filming, it had to be filmed like this. So you didn't see any of the clipping on the like ceiling.
It definitely worked out though, because
Yeah.
I mean, it's good.
Yeah, when I showed up, I was like, "Am I safe?" Because
And then you found out no.
it looked like a murder scene. It was like, "Yo, am I gonna be sacrificed today? Is that when my life is ending?" But no, it actually turned out really well. But
It was hot.
remember, this was April, so it was baking
It was
in there.
August.
Woo.
Yeah.
It was August.
August?
Yeah.
I thought you said April.
We started the video concept in April.
Alright.
We
Alright.
filmed it like the end of August.
So
I
it was
think.
in the dog days of summer. So
Yeah.
even hotter.
It was really hot.
All I remember is that it was hot.
And like the problem is that we couldn't run a fan because it made the tarps freak out.
Yeah.
Even though
Yeah.
we were using, I think we kept them. We had VHSs holding down the bottom of the tarps all around.
Yes.
And those
yes.
still weren't enough to stop the fan from
Um,
blowing it around. So whenever we actually took takes, we had to do it with no fan in a closed garage.
with
No AC.
mad lighting.
Oh,
With all
and-
like lights and lights.
Like industrial
And like
lights.
8 people in there, all
Yeah.
sweating and dying.
And when you're shooting a video, you actually have to put effort into your performance. I don't know who
Yeah.
decided that,
we
but
weren't getting
yeah.
sprayed down with water. We were dying.
So when we woke up in the morning, Charlie and I messed around with Logic on my laptop to just have the track there, and I didn't realize this, but there's like an app that you can control Logic with, so you can just have your computer set up in the corner and start the track. Like Colton could start the track and start the video and stuff, so we didn't have to dig back to the laptop. So we had all the sheeting up; it was hard to get to it. And so in the morning, Charlie and I messed with it, got the track all set up, and when Colton came, we didn't discuss a ton about the shots we were wanting to do. I kind of just like let Colton have freedom of that. And one of the things he said he wanted to do when he got there was he wanted to do this effect of like we film it at halftime, but then he speeds it up to full time, and it gives this really fast like juddery.
But you're still on time.
Yeah. So I had to take all the tracks and halftime them, which I'm sure there's a lot of Logic DAW people out there that are like, okay, press this button. I don't
Just
know
like
how
you're
to-
doing it wrong.
I don't know how to do that.
We know.
So it took like
very aware.
It took like 20 something minutes to figure out how to halftime the song
Yeah.
and get the click to line up with it too. And it wasn't that bad because we only had to do it for like 30 seconds of the song. We didn't do it for the whole song.
Yeah.
But figuring that out was a little bit of a pain.
Had to do a couple extra takes because it's halftime. It sounds like mush.
Yeah, it was so much harder.
Yeah.
What part of the song is this? Chum,
Yeah.
chum, chum.
Oh. We had the PA set up. So we didn't have any monitors. So we needed the PA to be louder than Josh's drum set, which was a real drum set. It was
Yeah.
not fake. It was loud. None of the guitars were plugged in or vocals, obviously.
Even with the stuff muting your stuff, it was like
Yeah.
in that room. It was like
Yeah,
We put-
even
yeah.
tape all over the cymbals underneath. Yeah, even that, it's
It's still pain.
it was so loud.
It's still really, really loud. So we have a PA that just has 2 speakers. So we had one out in front of the band so we could hear it, and then one that you can
Right behind
you can
me.
probably see in a
Yeah.
few shots through the tarp. It's right behind him, just blaring him in the back of the head.
Yeah.
It's mainly, you can kind of hear the song, but it's mainly just click dinging for 6 hours. That was super fun.
Yeah.
It's my favorite.
I think we went through the song as a band about 3 times, and
Like
then
5 times.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. So we did about 5, and then we each did solo playthroughs twice, I think. So it was like 15 takes of the song.
Yeah, and mind you, we were swimming.
Yeah.
It sucked.
So much.
Yeah, we were dying.
Heat. This man's leg locked up in the middle of it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, when we were doing the solo shots, I think I was second to last, so it was like way late in the day. And I don't know what happened, but a muscle, I've never had it before. It was a muscle like right above my knee that just stopped. It locked. I couldn't bend my knee, and I had to go down.
No, like in the middle of the take, he's just starting to like, and then he had to like lay on the ground flat for a few minutes.
It was very weird. I just ended up finishing out the solo shots, but I stood still.
He needed a break.
Very weird.
Yeah.
I need more bananas.
I think it was the second run through of mine.
So, yeah.
Like I was like going and I was like trying to like put as much energy as I could into it. I'm going. I'm like, yeah. I can't breathe. And like I was going hard, but it was like a sauna in there.
Yeah.
And so like we get like 3/4 way through the song, I was like, stop the song. Like I took a knee immediately. It was like
Took both knees.
and then like when we finished it out finally, then I immediately walked into the house and just laid down. I stripped down to like my shorts and like took off my shirt and I just laid in the floor. I was like, I'm gonna be here for a little bit. So I like laid in the floor about 20 minutes just trying to recuperate.
Yeah.
It was.
Yeah.
It turned out great, but it was a miserable situation.
Yeah, it was.
We should unionize against Josh and his hot garage.
It was our idea. We're like, you did this to us. We're trying to save a buck because we were gonna originally like rent out the studio downtown, but
Or a storage unit or something.
Yeah.
we're thinking about different options, and
That
we were
wouldn't
like,
have been funny
the
either.
cheapest one is this, so we went with that.
Yeah.
We were just worried about blaring noise for 6 hours in a neighborhood, but Josh lives in a dope neighborhood. They don't care.
Yeah, and most everyone around here are metalheads.
Yeah. So we got really lucky with that.
Yeah.
But that means we also had free location cost, which was nice. We just had to buy all the materials and then obviously
Yeah.
pay for it to be filmed.
And
Yeah, they didn't know that.
So yeah, that was with the lighting. That was one thing that we had to think about because in the Beartooth video, they just have the sheeting against the walls, like it's in a really small room.
yeah.
But we wanted more of an effect as if we were in a small compartment of a huge warehouse. And so in order to do that, we needed to get really good lights just blasting the back of it so it kind of whitewash it so you couldn't see through it. So we had to measure out the floor and the ceiling to make sure that the
Everything,
sheets were hanging.
yeah.
I think we did 3 feet away from the wall, just so we could
Yeah.
get a light back there. We get the PA back there. It's Josh's garage, so there's like totes and stuff in there. So we need
Yeah.
to just be like away from the wall for that.
But yeah, looking at the video, you can't even tell it was in a garage.
No.
You're sitting there going, "Wow, okay."
So there's a section very early on in the video where James rips off his mask and everyone else keeps it on. We talked about this a little bit earlier where we felt like people just really aren't speaking out about pollution and what's going on in the world. So that scene is to show significance to everyone in the room had a mask on. They're being silent. There's pollution happening. They have to wear a mask because they can't breathe outside anymore. Everyone except James has like very light makeup on just to kind of show that we have sickness. We have our eyes are really dark. Just very simple. Show we're getting just sick from the pollution, and the masks are like the only way we can even get around at this point. But James doesn't have the sickness, and he rips the mask off because it's signifying that he's like finally speaking out about it. Someone's speaking out about it. So the people that still have the masks on are getting sicker and sicker and not saying anything, but the fact that he is speaking up about it is like, it's helping cause the sickness not to happen. That's why he looks healthy in the video. That was the purpose of the makeup and why we decided to not give it to James. And it's also the reason for the mask. It's more of a, we need it because the pollution, the smog, and everything that's happening.
Yeah, which is kind of the opposite of a lot of videos with that similar theme, because usually the person who speaks up becomes kind of like the martyr.
Mm-hmm.
In this one, they kind of like get the turn around a bit.
You just went full Goku mode, dude.
I think a lot of people in America don't realize, I don't really think it's taught, but China, they pretty much wear masks all the time whenever they're outside of their house. And this is the first time America has ever had to do it, which is not for pollution's sake, but that's the point of this video. And like, us wearing masks in the video is actually a very common thing on the other side of the world. So it's weird to watch it from an American perspective. It's like, oh, we don't do that, but this actually happens in a lot, or it happens in China, which is a huge place.
Yeah.
So us doing it isn't like a new idea. This is actively happening.
Yeah, because the Americans have like a very like individualistic mentality, as if it's not happening in America, it's not real.
Yeah, can't argue that.
Well,
I did the intro.
my dudes, it has been an honor talking to y'all. I hope y'all check us out. Like this video.
This is out on all streaming platforms. Go check out the music video. We'll have it linked. And yeah, we'll catch you next time.
Peace.